10 a.m. on this Tuesday, February 17th, with you for the next hour here from the 11Alive Plus Streaming Center, bringing you breaking news as it happens, adding some context to the day's stories, and also bringing in live guests. You can watch the Colin Gray trial in full right now by scrolling down and then over on your remote, watching that on our alternate streaming channel. We'll get to some of that here soon. But we also want to talk with Chester McNeil, and he's got a forecast I think everybody's going to like. I mean, who's going to complain about sunshine and 70s?
Somebody will. Somebody will. But yeah, most of us are going to enjoy this. This is going to be beautiful, folks. We got sunshine on the outside. Look at the radar. It's nothing on it. Nothing. A few clouds will roll into the area as we get into the afternoon. We had some this morning. They've moved out. And so we will see some high, thin clouds around. That'll be it. Temperatures already in the 50s starting off this morning. A couple 40s up to the north. You got 49 degrees right now in Canton, 48 in Blairsville, 49 degrees up toward Clayton at the current hour. But we'll see those temperatures rise into the 60s as we head through the afternoon. 68 degrees, your afternoon high temperature. Our winds will be out of the south at about 7-8 miles per hour or less for today. And then those clouds will thicken as we head into the latter afternoon. So you see the clouds back off to the west of us. So if you look over toward Oklahoma City, Dallas, Memphis, those clouds are thickening up. That's going to be our case as we head into the afternoon, late afternoon, going into the evening. And I think we'll stay that way for the rest of the week. So if you don't get a chance to get out there and enjoy the sun today, then you may miss it for the rest of the week. And rain will follow those clouds eventually. Rain gets in here on Thursday. It's a very small threat, but then it increases on Friday and Saturday. Got a 50% chance on Friday. Saturday, a 50% chance as well. That's a front that's going to move through the area. That front will bring in not only the rain, but also some much cooler air coming our way as we head into next week. Forecast track model shows that sunshine, we'll have it in abundance through the afternoon, and then the bottom falls out. Yeah, the clouds will overtake the area so that by the time you wake up on Wednesday morning, you'll see mostly cloudy skies. We'll stay that way through the afternoon. You may get a few slivers of sunshine. That's about it. We'll do the same on Thursday. Mostly cloudy skies. Then notice how the clouds break up. We get a little sunshine, and then the clouds come right back. 20% chance for an isolated sprinkle or two. A few of us will see that. Not everyone, so most of us will stay dry. 50% chance on Friday. Then we got that 50% chance on Saturday. There could be a couple thunderstorms around as well, especially during the morning as that front pushes through the area. By the afternoon on Saturday, we'll begin to clear it out. Near 70 for the high on Saturday, and then Sunday down into the 50s. So we have a difference there. Maybe a few clouds in the morning on Sunday. We'll clear it out during the afternoon. Full sunshine on Monday, 35-degree start, 50 for the high.
Chess, I got to ask you, heavy hearts this morning, but also grateful ones with the loss of Reverend Jesse Jackson overnight. A full life he lived, and how lucky were we to share part of our life with his.
You know, giants that lived amongst us, man. These people were, him, Martin Luther King, Reverend Abernathy. These guys just put their lives on the lines for us. I mean, just wanting for us to have better lives. He was a fraternity brother of mine, so I saw him at conferences, things like that. But also, he was in this building a lot because NBC used to have a little hub where we have our weather center now.
Yeah.
And so he spent time, he was like a correspondent with the CNN and NBC. And he would come in here and sit there and do stuff for them. But then we'd see him as well. So we get a chance to rap with him, man. He was just a cool dude, man.
So you'd be passing down the hallway, and there was
he was right there, man. He was right there, and so, having an opportunity, I'm grateful to have an opportunity to have gleaned from him. Casual conversation and also serious topics as well. And so just a great, great guy. We'll miss him. And we're running out of those civil rights leaders like that. He was one of the last,
I mean, Al Sharpton speaking this morning on air about his good friend, but you could probably count on one hand the few from that era.
That's it. Yeah, I mean, so we got to teach and keep up what they did, keeping the dream alive, as we would say, or as he would say, keeping hope alive.
Yeah. And you are somebody.
Yeah, yes, you are.
Yeah. Chesley, thank you, buddy.
Take care, man.
All right, appreciate that. Yeah, in case you missed it this morning, we were just talking about civil rights leader Jesse Jackson passing away at age 84 this morning. His family released a statement that passed away with family by his side, dying peacefully overnight. He was diagnosed with Parkinson's about 10 years ago, but what a full life he lived. A longtime ally of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., as Chesley was just discussing, really a protege of his, and became one of the biggest voices in the modern civil rights movement. Reverend Jackson ran for president twice. He advocated for the poor and the underrepresented on a number of issues, from voting rights to job opportunities, education, and health care. He also founded the Rainbow Push Coalition, and many folks going to be remembering him today. Let's listen in.
Legendary civil rights leader, Reverend Jesse Jackson, dying at the age of 84.
I'm human. I am God's child.
After decades in the public eye, watching a country change as much as he did, Jackson, born in 1941 in Greenville, South Carolina, was a young protege of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., his life changing when King was gunned down in Memphis. Jackson, literally, there by his side.
It sounded like a stick of dynamite or a large firecracker. And when we turned, all we could see was police coming. Police were coming from the direction of the shot. Had been lined up along the streets.
It fell to Jesse Jackson and a small group of others to help keep the civil rights movement alive. The Baptist preacher known for his stirring speeches.
Repeat this. I am somebody.
Becoming a voice of the people.
Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive.
Jackson made Chicago his base of operation, starting what became the Rainbow Push Coalition, urging companies and politicians to improve opportunities for minorities. And he had his own political ambitions, launching a bid for president in 1984. The campaign marking the first time a national party had a major African-American contender. But the campaign was derailed when Jackson admitted using an anti-Semitic slur in a private conversation to describe New York City and Jews who live there.
However innocent and unintended, it was insensitive and wrong.
His apology at a New Hampshire synagogue helped him climb out of a deep political hole. He didn't win the nomination, but came closer after another run in 1988.
My right and my privilege to stand here before you has been won in my lifetime by the blood and the sweat of the innocent.
20 years later, a visibly emotional Jackson witnessing America elect its first black president, Barack Obama, a fellow Chicagoan. Over the years, Jackson used his considerable leverage as a statesman here at home to draw headlines around the world, joining the fight to end apartheid in South Africa, winning freedom for Americans held captive overseas. Telling Today in 1999, he was always conscious of Dr. King's legacy.
The dream continues and the struggle continues, but every now and then we see flashes of hope. Inclusion leads to growth, and when there is growth, everybody wins.
In later years, Jackson facing multiple health issues, diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2017, hospitalized with COVID in 2021. But he remained involved in politics, leading Get Out the Vote efforts. And in 2024, he was honored at the Democratic National Convention. Applause for a civil rights icon who dedicated his life to keeping hope alive. Craig Melvin, NBC News.
The civil rights world is reacting to the death of Reverend Jesse Jackson, including Reverend Al Sharpton, who this morning on MS Now said that he encouraged activists to defend the civil rights gains that Jackson spent a lifetime fighting for.
And he would tell us stories of how he was being trained by Dr. King. So his job was as difficult as the job that preceded him, is to keep the Voting Rights Act in, because every 5 or 6 years you had to reenact it. It is now under threat. To keep some of the wins of the civil rights movement of the 60s was to maintain it in the 70s and 80s and 90s. That was as difficult as it was to get in the first place, and he was the one that was out front doing that.
And more remembrances to come throughout the day, no doubt about that. All right, we also want to get to some more news of the day that we are following, and this just coming into our news within the last 15 minutes, an update on that car that went into Lake Lanier yesterday. Did you hear about this? We got video of it. The person has now been identified as 85-year-old Philip Malone. He was reported missing out of Roswell. No idea how long that car was in the water. We are told foul play is not suspected. A boater found that car. All this coming from the Forsyth County Sheriff's Office, and perhaps more to come on that investigation. But for now, we know the man found dead inside is 85-year-old Philip Malone, missing out of Roswell. All right, your time is now 10:10 on this Tuesday morning. It is great to be with you here on 11Alive Plus. We are continuing to follow the Colin Gray trial, and we will have more on that, more headlines when we see you in just a few minutes. Some heavy testimony coming out of Barrow County. We knew it was going to be a tough trial, and indeed it is proving to be just that. Day 2 of the trial against Colin Gray, the father of the accused Appalachia High School shooter. This is now, by my count, the 4th juvenile witness who has taken the stand already in the last hour this morning. Several of them were shot, including this young girl, speaking about her surgeries here. Let's listen.
Better?
Yes and no.
Okay, well, tell me about the yes first.
I'm using my hand more. Even if you see now, I'm actually fidgeting with my hand. Okay. Before, it would just kind of sit off to the side, or I'd sit it in my lap and only use my right hand.
Okay.
I'm able to use it more now.
Can you feel better?
But also,
Can you feel your fingers better than you did before the surgery?
I want to say yes. It hasn't been long enough, really, to see any effects. The main thing that I notice after the surgery now it's now fully healed, because after the surgery it was a lot of waiting, just for it to close up and me to get back to what I was doing before I had it. Okay. And then I want to say I use my hand more now. Okay.
And you also said no, it's not better in some ways. What was that?
Just that I can't see. Like how their faces change a lot over time, but you don't really notice that change in your face, but everyone else will.
Okay.
Just because I'm living with it every single day. I don't really notice because it's gradual and small over time.
Today, are there limitations of what you can do with that?
Yes.
And what are those limitations?
I can't text. I can't move my thumb outwards, which you use a lot.
Opposable thumbs are important.
Yeah, I don't have an opposable thumb. My thumb can go like that. I don't have complete independent finger function. Mm-hmm. If you see, I can't move my fingers.
So you can't move one at a time?
Yeah, they can't. They can move together, but. Which makes doing a lot of fine motor tasks extremely hard. I can't tie my shoes.
How about pain? Is there any pain today?
Today, no. It was after the shooting, I had a lot of pain, and it slowly quieted over time when I do have it. It's not constant and consistent. It's like sharp and like sporadic. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm trying to think of an analogy, but I can't find one. Okay. Just, it happens sporadic and randomly sharp pains in my wrist, my thumb, and stuff like a needle coming out of my skin.
Okay. So Natalie, we talked a lot about your physical limitations and healing. What about your emotions? What were they like directly after? Did you have some emotional issues after this?
I'd like to say yeah.
I'm sorry?
I'd like to say yes.
In what way?
Afterwards, I couldn't place where my emotions were. If you told me how I was feeling, I would say I was okay or I'm fine, because I couldn't find the correct adjective to use.
Okay.
I guess now I would use the word distraught, dazed. Okay. I couldn't. I had PTSD afterwards. Even now, my brain now goes towards possibilities, and just everyday things. Driving, I think someone could crash into our car right now, send us flying off the road, and we could all die. When someone knocks on the door in my classroom, I think, do they have a gun? Before I think, oh, it's Alex coming back from the bathroom. I'm just using a random name.
We talked about you doing physical therapy for your physical limitations. Are you doing counseling for your emotional issues?
Yes.
Okay. And how's that going?
It's going good. I haven't had any in about 2 months, but that's just that's just personal stuff with scheduling. But I'm going to be back in counseling soon.
Okay.
And I was in therapy before the shooting as well.
So Natalie, I don't have any more questions for you, but the defense may have some. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm.
Cross. No question, John. Thank you. Thank you. You're good to go.
All right, we also want to take you live to a different trial happening right now. In fact, it's jury deliberations in the Edric Faust trial. There's a question from the jurors. Let's listen.
Can we figure out the portion? I have no issue with it. Is there a particular portion they would like to see?
They haven't requested it, and so my practice is to let them direct the show. And if they have requested a certain portion, I'll address it. But they've just said video, so I'm going to let them see the video.
It's been chopped up multiple ways.
Sure.
So, but that's fine.
Well, they can only see the video that's in evidence, and only the parts that you all agreed and were in evidence. They don't get to see the video just as is. So certainly.
Yes, Judge. And I think total between the segments that were published is about 10 minutes or so. So it's not, and I completely agree with Mr. Cruz to the extent that if there is a request for testimony of a witness, we'd certainly join in a request about directing that. But as far as this video, it's only probably about 10 minutes long.
All right, thank you. Do you need some time to get it set up? And do you have the notations that you had in court, which are the ones that we're excluding?
I do have the notations, and if I could have just a minute
sure.
with Mr. Cruz, the segments that we chopped up for the closing are actually pre-redacted, so we don't have to do the sliding back and forth stuff. Mm-hmm. But I'll show to Mr. Cruz.
Go ahead. Just let me know when y'all are ready. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that is jury deliberations continuing in day 2 in the trial against Edric Faust out in Athens, the man accused of killing Tara Baker back in 2001, a cold case. The jury deliberated for 7 hours yesterday without coming back with anything. They've been deliberating for an hour right now and still no verdict. We know yesterday they asked to re-listen to the testimony from a detective as well as review DNA evidence. And here it appears they're asking to re-watch some video from the trial. So we are on verdict watch in that case. We're back in just a couple minutes. Hey, Toy Fair is back, and if you've ever wondered what's going to be the must-have toy of the year, this is the place where it all starts. Joining us live from the show, right there on the show floor, in fact, is Jennifer Lynch, Toy Trends Specialist with the Toy Association. Hey, Jennifer, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing great. Better now that we're talking about toys. I know you've seen it all. You're surrounded by some good stuff right now. Anything this year that makes you say, oh, this is just going to be huge?
You know, educational play is really trending this year, and there's really highlighted across the table. Over here, this one is launching later this fall from LEGO Systems. This is the LEGO Duplo 3-in-1 creative ramp with vehicles building set. With this one, you can reconfigure it 3 different ways. So we've got it set up in the mega long ramp here that goes down, you launch your vehicle through the loop, but then you can also redo it again, and you can reconfigure it with smaller ramps and kind of color match your vehicles to the ramps, really engaging kids in that color recognition learning, and then reconfigure it again. And then you can also kind of do their problem solving testing of their skills as they try to launch their ramps through the hoops. So it's really encouraging that educational play. Creative play is also trending. And this just launched from Hasbro. This is the Play-Doh Donut Drop Shop play set. What this does, this is really fun. It allows kids to create little mini donuts using their Play-Doh. You can make your classic donuts, you can make your filled donuts, you can make your fancy donuts, add your sprinkles, your fixins on top, add a little crazy croissant on the side, but really engaging kids in that food play, and then also continuing that creative play. Crayola. Over here, we've got another one that's launching later this fall. This is the Crayola Color Wonder Magic Light and Sound Miss Rachel set. With this one, it's combining the worlds of Crayola, which is known for their mess-free play, with Miss Rachel, known for her educational play. It's going to indicate what color kids are using as they're coloring, and then Miss Rachel, 5 songs from Miss Rachel, 30 phrases from Miss Rachel, so blending that together for some early learning.
Yeah, you know what? I have a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, so I actually fall asleep and hear Miss Rachel's head in my voice. Yeah, her voice in my head. So that's great. More Miss Rachel. Love it. No, we do love her.
I have a 4-year-old, so I'm right there with you.
You get it. Also, I got to ask, because my kid loves, his favorite toy right now is Woody and Buzz. That's what I grew up with. And is that Pikachu in front of you? Like, some of these are just timeless.
Yeah, you know, classic brands is something that we're also seeing really coming back. So Pikachu, Pokemon is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. So Jazzwares and Wow Stuff came together to create this really iconic new iteration of Pikachu. It uses this dual play technology that merges puppetry with electronics to bring the character to life in a really fantastic way. There's touch sensors, there's 100 different action and sound combinations that you can create. So if you're a fan of Pokemon Pikachu, this is one you're going to want to check out for fall. And this one also just was announced from Mattel. This is a reimagining of the traditional American Girl dolls, the classic historic characters. So this is the American Girl Modern Eras dolls. And if you've ever wondered what these characters might look like if they lived in the modern era today, well, then it really captures it in these new 14.5 scale dolls. With these, you have modern fashions, modern styles, but they all nod back to their traditional heritage. So again, reimagining the classics.
Jennifer, when can parents expect some of these to hit store shelves?
So the Play-Doh set is available right now. The American Girl is available for pre-order right now, and the rest are coming out for holidays. So you're just going to have to start making your holiday wish list early.
Sounds good. Jennifer Lynch, thank you so much for your time this morning. Fun segment.
Thank you.
All right, look for that coming to a shelf near you. We're back in just a couple minutes. You're watching 11Alive Plus. We're back with the latest on the search for Nancy Guthrie. And the sheriff of Pima County yesterday in Arizona said that the family never considered suspects in this case. Let's get more from Gabriela Bachara.
The focus on finding a suspect involved in 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie's disappearance intensifies as Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos rules out her own family. In a statement, Nanos says in part, to be clear, the Guthrie family, to include all siblings and spouses, has been cleared as possible suspects in the case. The family has been nothing but cooperative and gracious and are victims in this case. To suggest otherwise is not only wrong, it is cruel. This comes after Nanos previously said he didn't plan to rule anyone out.
I wouldn't say anybody's ruled out yet, because what if I rule you out and then later I learn something else?
I asked a retired Phoenix police commander for his insight on this new development.
Why would you do that? Why would you call them out publicly and say, well, we looked at you? No, you don't do that. You just let it ride out.
As the sheriff rules people out, his detectives are also focusing in on the person seen on Nancy's doorbell camera video the night she disappeared, specifically what he was wearing. His backpack is sold exclusively at Walmart. And today, the sheriff's department confirms his clothes could have also been purchased at Walmart.
It's outstanding that they've identified a primary store where that has come from, because that gives you an investigative path that you can now follow.
Jeffrey Hines tells me investigators are likely going through Walmart's surveillance video and purchase records.
That is something that gives them something to put their teeth into and just keep digging until they find that one lead that leads them to that suspect.
Another possible lead in the case, DNA found inside Nancy's home, which Nanos told NBC News doesn't belong to Nancy or anyone close to her. It's unclear if investigators have since determined whose DNA it is.
Also want to look for any family ties, any connective relationships that you get a partial hit, you get something that leads you to something else.
All right, we want to get a check of stocks, 10:30 this morning. It's been about an hour since opening bell, and it's going to be a down day so far, at least opening right now. Dow down some 200 points as it opened, down 230 points right now. This comes after a better than expected consumer price index number showing better inflation for the month of January than had been predicted. Also, we're learning that some tech stocks hitting hard today at the open, including Meta, NVIDIA, and Palantir. So, started off in the green, but already down more than 200 points there on the Dow. All right, we're also watching a couple big trials this morning, including jury deliberations continuing out of Athens. The jury has asked to review some more video in the Edric Faust trial. Yesterday, they asked to re-listen to testimony from a detective and also review some DNA evidence. So jury now an hour plus into the deliberations today, day 2 of deliberations. No verdict yet, but we are on verdict watch there. Also closely watching the Colin Gray trial that you can watch live right now by scrolling down and then over on the 11Alive Plus app. It is day 2 of that trial. More witnesses being called to the stand, although we are right now in a 15-minute recess. So we'll be bringing you more of that trial here soon. But now on to the latest 11Alive investigation and a contentious issue for everyone, divorce, of course. But some parents are saying it's being made worse by some folks who are meant to offer a neutral voice in all this. Rebecca Lindstrom investigating this issue and joins us now. Rebecca?
Yeah, we're talking about guardians ad litem, and I think we were here chatting about this a few weeks ago, initially when some moms came forward and said, hey, we feel like this is essentially someone that is court appointed when you've got these contentious divorces, and the judge just feels like he needs to hear from someone outside of the situation who has had time to go in, do some interviews, analyze the situation to decide really who's going to be able to meet the needs of this kid best when deciding custody. The challenge comes that some of these parents just feel like this process has no accountability, that misinformation is being shared in court, that their voice really isn't being heard by this person who they feel is taking sides very early on in the process. Now, we have no way to know if that is the case, but what we do know is that there is no formal complaint system for guardians if you do feel like you have a problem. We do know that There is no registration for guardians. No one can tell you how many have actually gone through any type of training to officially become a guardian ad litem in the state. And so this really is kind of an unregulated aspect that has a lot of control in the process.
Wow.
And so, some people after we did our first story said, well, what about some legislation? Can we do something about this? And so we went down to the Capitol as one mom tried to seek lawmakers' attention, and this is what she found.
How are you?
Kitty Mayo stands along the ropes that line the Georgia Senate.
I wrote some legislation and we're trying to get somebody to carry it.
Unable to get a sit-down appointment.
Don't come down here if you don't like crowds.
She has been waiting more than an hour.
I'm going to wait here. You tell me to wait here, I'm going to wait here.
Waiting to find a senator willing to hear why she feels the state needs to make guardians ad litem more accountable.
And he does know you are waiting out.
Mayo is working on 2 other family court-related bills through her group, Georgia Protective Parents. She is not a professional lobbyist. She is just a mom fighting for change.
I'm in a mom's group, and in that group, there was a consistent theme. And the same consistent theme was the guardians. And they all told the same story.
It's the story we heard in emails and phone calls from mothers, fathers, and grandparents who, like the women in our first story, felt the guardians assigned to their custody cases overstepped their authority or misrepresented information in court.
In fact, the crux of the reporting omitted witness testimony that I provided and that people in my life provided. And there was no checks and balances in that reporting.
When I brought these things to my attorney, I was told basically it would not go well in my favor if I complained or challenged this person.
Most of the people that reached out to 11Alive were parents unhappy with the custody arrangements made by the court. But they are right. Guardians can play a big role in the decision. And despite that power, the state has no formal process to review qualifications or investigate complaints.
I'd like to see that there is a registry and more oversight.
We should require a lot more of them in terms of training and ethics and actual education, because it's not just our experiences, our trauma collectively that we now share going through this, but our child.
The law already requires guardians to have training on a number of topics, but since there's no registration process, the quality of that training is inconsistent and rarely verified.
We have got to get back to very strong evidence-based rulings for our children.
There is no knowledge of post-divorce abuse. It is emotional abuse, financial abuse, and legal abuse.
For Mayo, this bill isn't about her case.
I was calling to see if I could get an appointment with Senator Strickland.
But instead, it is for all the custody cases to come.
It's a busy day today.
For those families, Mayo says she'll be back at the Capitol tomorrow, looking for someone to listen.
Miss Mayo not giving up. I love that. I love that angle of finding somebody willing to do anything to make their situation a little better, including tracking down lawmakers where they work.
She thought she had a sponsor for this idea, and then that lawmaker kind of came to her in the 11th hour, right when she thought it was going to be introduced, and said, I've just got too many bills that I'm fronting right now. I believe in what you're trying to do, but I'm not the person who has the bandwidth to carry it. I think we kind of forget, we think that lawmakers just introduce a bill and then they sit back and let the process play out. But if you are the sponsor of a bill, you have to go to all the committee meetings, all the hearings. So if you sponsor it in the Senate, you're committed to several meetings to sort of front and lobby for this idea.
Yep.
And then even when it goes into the House, you're going to have someone, in the House that might champion it, but you're still going to come and try to get involved and explain why you feel this needs to take place. So when you do make the decision to sponsor a bill, it's not just putting your name on a piece of paper. There really is a time and lobbying commitment that's involved. And so it is fair, I think, for a lawmaker to say, I'm just overstretched. I've got to stay committed to the things I've already, introduced. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, when you feel like you've got something that really needs to be heard, it's hard to keep getting that no.
Gosh, guardian ad litem. I was not familiar with it before. Is this unique to Georgia? Do they have these in other states?
They do. They're used differently in other states. So we have them in our juvenile court process. If you ever think of a child that comes into foster care, there is a guardian ad litem that is assigned to that child. But there is oversight over that process because that's taking place within, sort of a state structured system. So there is specific training, there is oversight, there is a complaint process. But what we're talking about here is when that role, which is usually an attorney, someone who knows the law, is assigned by a judge to do this special role and spend this time with the family and do their evaluations and write a report to the court. And it is when it is used in our family court system that none of that oversight structure exists. I mean, if you had a complaint, you would take it to the judge. But remember, the judge is the same person who kind of
appointed
this individual. They're in the court all the time together. And, most of these parents say that their complaints have kind of, they have felt that they have been washed, or swept under the rug. And even their own attorneys, as you heard one mom say, they're just advised, don't rock the boat. It's not going to look good for you if you're the one sitting in court complaining.
Okay. What's the next step in this investigation for you?
I think it's going to be seeing if some legislation does get introduced. We know here in Georgia, you've only got a certain period of time. I know it comes up in March. Can't remember the exact date. But in March, where a bill has to make it, first has to be introduced. It's got to go through committee, and it's got to make it out of one chamber for it to even continue to be considered. So if they get that step done, then we'll continue to follow it as it goes through the next chamber. Otherwise, given the number of emails we've received on this issue, I am sure we will continue discussing this as we head into the next legislative session. I don't think this is an issue that's going to go away.
Okay. Rebecca Lindstrom, thank you very much. Reams, let's get over to you. You were watching a big redevelopment in Athens?
That's correct. Let me pull up some cameras for you here.
Yeah.
Drop that super first. Athens. We see this shot a lot, Dan, right?
Yes.
What looks different?
Quite a bit, in fact. Some movement there.
A lot of movement going on right now. They are redeveloping and redesigning College Square there right now in Athens. Right, and this is a live look from our weather camera system here. That is what it looks like today. This is what it's going to look like here.
Oh.
In just a couple of months, potentially. This is some diagrams that we are getting in. We got them in late yesterday. This is the most visited block in downtown Athens. It's a central gathering place for the city's thousands of visitors where college students, I'm told, I did not go to UGA, but this is where college students usually like to, study and dine and have some street life.
Study.
Reams. We'll call it studying. So when the construction is done, they're looking to leaders for Athens and Clark County say they want to improve connectivity, enhance the district's character and identity while promoting the street life, the studying, as we'll call it. Right. Construction began last month, as we'll go back to those.
I love that. It looks like they're going to have a stage presence there, so you can have some live music. You got the nice shade from the tree canopy. You got some lights.
Let's build some boxes live on TV, shall we?
And you got some tables there for studying, I guess. But that's great. So this is where everybody hangs out in Athens, you say?
Allegedly. I've been to Athens just a few times. I did not go to the UGA.
It's always a good time. Can't say I hung out at College Square, though.
There we go. Yeah, so on the left there, you see the live picture of the development underway. That construction started last month. Construction hoping to be complete in September.
Okay. You see the arches there in the backdrop of that design. So I know where this is. This is right by the arches. So
we know where this is. That makes sense for where this camera is. Very popular area. It's trying to be done in September in time for football season.
Yep.
The best time to study. Right. That's what I got for you there.
My team plays in Athens this year. I'm looking forward to going to that game. Missouri Tigers. Taking on the Georgia Bulldogs.
I hope they lose by a respectable margin.
Who is they?
I'll let you decide that one.
All right. Wow. Fighting words from Reams. He grew up in Florida. He probably roots for the Gators or something.
I am a Clemson fan.
He's a Clemson fan. That's right. All right.
Unfortunately.
We're off on a tangent, wishing it was football season, but that's all right. We still got the Winter Olympics. Did you watch some games yesterday?
Oh. Do we want to talk Winter Olympics now?
Let's do it.
We can talk Winter Olympics now. Alana Meyer-Taylor.
Yeah.
Georgia's
incredible.
own. The one we've been caring about forever.
Yep.
Did you watch any of her runs?
I saw the highlights.
You saw the highlights.
She's something else.
The very fast highlights. Yesterday was the final 2 runs of the women's monobob. That is one person in a bobsled. A lot of fun. I love the monobob. This is the second Olympics for the women's monobob. Tied the track record on run 3 to put herself just in that perfect spot in second place, to hold her second place. Final run sets another very respectable time. Second to last one, the German comes in afterwards, 0.04 of a second behind. Hundredths of a second is all it takes, so they're going 70-something miles an hour to win the gold, her first gold in her 5th Olympics. She's never won the gold before. And now she is finally a gold medalist. She still has another competition. She is continuing to celebrate with her family there. She will be back for the dual bob.
Okay. That sounds right.
2 bob.
The
Not one bob, 2 bob.
All right.
I'll find the official name for that, but it's the two women bobsled competition coming up in a couple of days.
She's so likable, man.
She is fantastic.
I think her husband is her coach too.
I believe so. They've got 2 kids.
2 kids, both deaf.
Had to learn a new language right after her first was born to be able to communicate with your child. I could not imagine that.
Yeah. Raised in Douglasville, I believe,
Yes.
right here in our backyard. Cheryl Preheim has done a number of stories with her, and to know her is to love her, and we are so happy for Alana Myers-Taylor.
And looking ahead to tonight, one other big story. Women's figure skating, the singles is back tonight.
Okay.
We have 3 American hopefuls. They're all very lovable. Taylor Swift had a nice intro to them yesterday on Primetime in Milan on 11Alive. Very, very fun. I'm very excited. I'm hoping they do not disappoint us like the men did.
We're down to the final days, right, Reams?
We are in the final days. We're in the final week. Closing ceremonies coming up in just a few days in Verona. It's going to be great.
Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Reams, our resident expert on Winter Olympics. You know what? It appears the Colin Gray trial is back in session. So if we can just go back to that for a moment, just to give you a little bit of background here. We are in day 2 of testimony here. They are just coming back from a brief recess. We've heard from a number of juvenile witnesses today. After hearing from 9 different witnesses yesterday, we got opening statements. We also heard from the prosecution. We heard from the defense team in their openings. And this morning, it is more witnesses being called up to the stand, though it appears nothing as of now, Reams. I don't believe. No, nothing yet. So we'll go ahead and take a quick break. If you want to watch this trial in full, you can do so right now by scrolling down and then over on the 11Alive Plus app. We'll keep an eye on any developments there, and we're back in just a couple minutes. We are watching developments out of 2 courtrooms in Metro Atlanta this morning, including on the right-hand side of your screen, the Colin Gray trial, and then on the left-hand side of your screen, the Edric Faust trial, the man standing trial for the murder in 2001 of Tara Baker in Athens, Georgia. A jury just now walking back into the room. They are in day 2 of deliberations. Let's listen to the judge.
Morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you for being here on time again this morning. Your third question, video of Bigham and Howell interview of Edric Faust requested. We are going to play that for you. It took us a minute to make sure we had the right exhibit, so I appreciate your patience. Mr. Yalamanchili, are you ready to play that?
I am, Your Honor.
Mr. Cruz, you ready, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you may proceed, Mr. Yalamanchili.
Good morning, Ms. Faust. Hey, I'm Liz Bigham. I'm with the GBI. This is Jeremy Howell with the GBI. You want to take those off right now? We need to sit, talk to you, and do some things. But are you going to act right?
Well, definitely.
Are you sure? Okay. Do you have my handcuff keys back in there? I can go grab it. Do you have one on you? Okay. Can you use some water or anything?
I'm cool.
You sure? You use the restroom?
I'll just use the restroom already.
I'm sorry?
I use the restroom.
Oh, you just use the restroom. Okay.
Let's see, I think I got the right key for these. Right, let's go back down this a ways. There it is. Okay. Sorry, I don't have a key for that. There you go.
Here's that for you, just in case you want something.
There we go.
All right. So there's a little bit of paperwork we got to do first, and you can get some information from you, obviously name and all that stuff. And then we'll kind of go from there. Go ahead. So you've got, I think it's about 9 warrants that we've got for you today. I'll explain everything to you. Let me get this filled out and stuff, and then we'll go over everything together, okay? I mean, obviously we're here, we want to talk to you about this stuff, and we can kind of go into all that, but we got to get through this first. All right? It's Edric or Edric?
Edric.
Edric,
Yes.
E-D-R-I-C-K?
Correct.
And what's your middle name?
Lamont.
L-A?
M-O-N-T.
All right. And F-A-U-S-T?
Correct.
How old are you, Mr. Faust?
I am 48.
Are you sure? Okay. And what's a good home address for you?
My home address is, well, I got a P.O. box now.
What's like your physical home address?
350 Cooper Road.
350 Cooper Road?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. That's in Athens?
Yes, 05.
30605?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, and how far did you go to school, Mr. Faust?
I graduated high school diploma.
High school diploma?
Yeah.
Okay.
Steve Shoals? Actually, I went to Steve Shoals, but I went back to continue. I got a diploma in another school.
Okay.
Got another further down the road.
Gotcha.
All right, you can read and write, I'm assuming. Okay, so let's go over this together. All right, it's 6:06 now. So today is May 9th, 2024. The time is 6:06 p.m., and we're at the, I wrote ACCPD, but Athens Clark County Police Department. Your name is Edric Faust, and you are 48 years old. Your address is 350 Cooper Road, Athens, Georgia, 30605, and you completed the 12th grade in school. You know that Liz Bigham, which is me, and Jeremy Howell over there are special.
All right, so you were watching a video that has already been shown to the jury. They've asked to see it again there in the Edric Faust trial. This is where he is informed of the murder charges he is facing a couple of years ago, some 20-plus years after the murder of Tara Baker. The jury asking to revisit that as they are now in day 2 of deliberations. Yesterday, they asked to review video testimony from a detective, and they also asked to review some DNA evidence. On the right-hand side of your screen is the Colin Gray trial. The jury has re-entered that room. We've also heard from a number of witnesses there from that trial this morning. Majority of them have been juveniles. We have not been showing their faces. We have not been sharing their names with you. Instead, we have been allowing you to dip in and listen to some of their testimony. As the prosecution is calling another witness to the stand, let's listen in.
All right, Mr. Garner, can you go ahead and raise your right hand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
And can you introduce yourself to the jury and go ahead and spell your first and last name as well?
Sidney Garner, Sidney Garner.
Throwing away your questions. All right, so tell us what you do.
I'm a registered nurse at Northeast Georgia Medical Center in Gainesville in the emergency department.
Okay. And how long have you worked in Gainesville?
I've been in Gainesville for 10 years.
And have you worked anywhere else as a nurse?
Not as a nurse. I was a paramedic for 10 years prior for Gwinnett County Fire.
Okay. Can you tell us about your education that, I guess, allowed you to be a nurse?
I received my undergrad at the Alabama. That was my BSN. Then I got a master's at the University of Alabama at Birmingham.
Okay. And they still let you work in Georgia?
Yes.
All right. So you said that you were fireman and EMT prior to becoming a nurse?
Yes, ma'am.
In that profession, did you have the occasion to come across emergencies, gunshot wounds, that sort of thing?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. About how many of those types of incidents where there was a crime committed or someone had been shot did you come across?
Countless. I couldn't put a number on it. Yes, ma'am.
Now, you indicated that you work at Northeast Georgia in Gainesville, and you indicated that you are an emergency room nurse. Can you tell us what that means? Like, what do you do?
I'm currently an assistant nurse manager. I've got 30 employees under me in the department. I'm also one of 18 shock trauma nurses in the department that has specialized in trauma and shock patients.
And tell me how that differs from being a regular ER nurse when you're dealing with shock trauma patients.
Specialty training, extra meetings every month as well.
Okay. And is there a shock trauma nurse on every shift?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to turn your attention to the afternoon of September 4th of 2024. Were you working on that date?
Yes, ma'am.
And what shift were you working?
I work 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
And what was your role on that shift?
My role on that shift was team lead that day. I was over what we call the A area, or our trauma area in the department.
And as team lead, what is your job?
My job was to oversee the nurses, 4 nurses in that zone, to oversee 10 patients in that area as well.
So was there a separate shock trauma nurse on duty?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Did you participate in the care of Natalie Griffith that day?
Yes, ma'am.
And how did you end up participating in her care?
I was the lead charter in the room when she arrived.
Okay. And did you sort of take over the role of shock trauma nurse as well?
Yes, ma'am. The shock trauma nurse that day was a newer nurse, and the charge nurse had asked me to take on that position due to the news of a potential shooting in the area.
And was that kind of based on your previous experience as an EMT and firefighter that you can handle this type of situation?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you remember about Natalie's demeanor that day?
I remember her when she came in, she was calm, especially for a 15-year-old.
And was she asking for anyone or doing anything?
She asked for her mother multiple times.
At this time, I'm going to go ahead and introduce into evidence State's Exhibit 79, which are Natalie Griffith's medical records. We're introducing them under the business records exception.
Okay. All right, 79 is admitted.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I'm just going to hand these to you in case you need them when you're answering questions. Can you tell us what time Natalie arrived at the hospital?
Natalie was registered in the emergency department at 12:01.
And how was she transported there?
By ambulance.
Did you participate in assessing her when she arrived at the emergency room?
Yes, ma'am.
And how old was she?
Natalie was 15.
Can you describe what her injuries were?
Yes, ma'am. Natalie had appeared to what be a graze wound across the top of her left breast, a penetrating wound to the upper left arm on the medial and lateral side, also a large wound to the left wrist.
And when you say graze wound, can you tell us what you mean by that?
It appeared something had cut through the tissue of the top of the left chest. It did not penetrate in, but it was kind of filleted open.
And can you tell us what you mean by penetrating wound?
What we assumed to be a GSW at the time, a gunshot wound.
And I think you indicated that there was a lateral and then